Hey, it's Jason Kanigan. It is Monday, but I'm still here in Virginia at the girlfriend's place, so I don't have my nice setup or equipment. But I wanted to make a video because it's the thing that I should be doing as part of Wes Schaefer's 12 Weeks to Peak accountability program. It's free. I don't know if I mentioned that before in the last video, but if you're a salesperson or a company president who has to actually go out and meet people, new people, to get new clients, then I highly recommend it because it gets you, in the state of actually doing things and wanting to do things, get some inertia going. I last did this, I think, in like 2022 or something like that. That quarter or so, I doubled my money because of it for sure. And it went on pretty good after that, and I had a really good quarter at the end of last year. But um, I want to be doing more outreach now, so that's why I'm doing this. So you can go sign up for that at westschaefer.com/12W, 12W, and get in and find out what the laundry list of things to do is. And, there's nothing brain breaking there or shatteringly difficult or anything like that. You just do it and do some of the things, do something. Right. And get into motion. So what I wanted to make this video about is a topic that I thought of previously, which is who am I following on YouTube as far as content creators go? And there's not many. I actually went back through not just my subscription list, but my history in YouTube to see like what am I actually doing? Because I've noticed a discrepancy between things like I thought and I actually did. Uh, one of them was I could have sworn I watched the movie Hereditary in like February, right? 2022. Scariest movie I've ever seen. I know it doesn't work on some people, but for me, it was very, very effective. And I bought the movie and I haven't watched it again since. So I just started rewatching it and I watched it on Blu-ray and went and looked up when I watched it, and in some way I was able to find out when I bought it. That's right. I went and I looked back on eBay when I bought the DVD and it was in June or July, June I think, of that year. So, if I'm wrong about that, what else am I wrong about, right? So I want to be accurate. So I went and looked at the history again. So this isn't going to be a long list. I think I'm going to cover five. I've got some notes here. Three of them I watch quite frequently. If something comes up from them, I'm probably going to stop and watch it, right? Two of them, one of them I don't really watch anymore, and the other one I find I watch about once a month because he's got good stuff. So the first one is Dan Coe, Dankoe. If you're not following this guy and you're in business and you feel like you're a content creator or somebody who has something to say, you want to be an expert about something and have people coming to you about that topic. And just the sense of running a business, right? The good sense of running a business. You want to follow this guy. He deliberately creates long form content. I don't think any of his videos are under half an hour. He'll cover the same ground, but he's not repetitive, and I really like that. He comes at it from a really strong point of view. At first, I thought he was very digital, not analog at all, and so no woo woo. But as time has gone on, I see he's got more and more of that stuff. So, and like recognizes like, right? His thing is that he's creating this software right now that's like a second brain. I think it's called Cortex or something. Um, it sounds like a great idea to me, right? I don't need it yet, but the moment that I need that as a second brain, I usually use Google Drive and some other things. I would happily go get that. So anything about like structure and thinking about business and what you're trying to accomplish every day, right? What you should focus on and how you ought to go about doing it, you can expect to get very detailed instructions from Danco. Really, really good stuff there. Okay, I can't compliment it enough, right? He spent a lot of time learning how to write and speak clearly, especially the writing, and then he'll make his video off of what he wrote. And he's got a course as well, several courses, but a course specifically on how to write. And a lot of people need that, particularly young people. Find don't know how to write, don't know how to express themselves. Um, I was going to go off on an aside about the government issues right now and people having to write an email with five bullet points of what they accomplished last week. And that's like, that's a no-brainer, right? That is an absolute no-brainer. And yet people are going to struggle to do that. So if you're struggling with like structure, what do I do with myself? Especially if like you have a body of knowledge and you're like, yeah, I know stuff. I am good at things. What do I do with this? Right? Um, that's something that I used to teach people how to do is package this stuff into something that that you can sell, right? I had to do it myself first, back around like 2011, 2012. Dan is a great guy to go get that structure from. And I mean, the videos are great. Watch them, take notes, apply what you've learned, buy his courses. You know, they're good stuff. The second guy is Chris Doe. So they rhyme. That's funny. So Chris Do, like do. Um, He is very good for marketing and positioning. If you're a creative, like a graphic designer, videographer, something like that, and you want to up level the clientele, the money you're making, the impact you're having, and that Christo is, the guy to follow. He runs his show is called The Future, but with the E cut off, so Futur. And he has a lot of people on. I found him because I was looking for the guy who is the writer of value-based pricing, which is like a $80 book, right? Like you want to go. He's rewritten the book several times over the years. It was called The Firm of the Future. And I would just go back and buy a previous edition for like $30 and get most of the information, right? But that guy, what he has done, this guest, I don't have his name right now. I should have gotten it ready, but maybe I'll put it in the notes. But if you look up value-based pricing on Amazon, that's the guy. He's figured out how to turn anything into a subscription, like medical services into a subscription, right? So, but if you could do it for that, you can do it. And so Chris is talking about like how to maximize the impact and the perceived value of your creative effort. And that's a huge deal because a lot of people don't know how to do it. Right? And so you combine those two, the value-based pricing and this perception thing, right? And the structure of perception, and you get something very, very powerful. Something that's worth a lot. There's an example that they give of the Citibank logo being created, and it's like tens of thousands of dollars for like a doodle on a napkin. And it was like a combination of an umbrella with an existing logo. Like it's nothing like earth-shattering, and yet how do you put a value on that? And they did, right? So you follow this kind of thing, and you start to get the idea of how you might be able to do it yourself. Um, the thing that I really like about Chris is he's on many other shows, and he does these like sit down in person 20-person 40-person events, uh, where he'll help people, right, individually. And so you hear these case studies and you're like, all right, I've heard this 3 times, like I'm starting to get the idea now, right? So it will sink in. So Christo and Danko, those are the two who I'm following the most right now. Like I said, if they come up in my feed, I'm probably going to stop what I'm doing unless there's money to be made in that moment to pay attention to what they're saying, because the reinforcement of this stuff is really valuable too, right? Don't think that you watch a video once, especially a half an hour long video, and like get it all. You don't retain anything. We humans in our chimp bodies and chimp minds don't retain anything. You got to hear this stuff like 20, 30 times. Okay. And this is why most people fail, right? They're not in it for the long term. They're not persistent. They don't show up. Okay. Be the opposite of all those things. Okay. Show up, be persistent, be committed. Understand that this is a long journey, man. you know, and anybody who tells you that you're not going to suffer a little bit is lying to you. Right? It's just a lie. So a third guy who I follow, his name is Rich Gilbert. I wish I had known. I mean, YouTube wasn't around when I was in my 20s, but it's 30 years ago. But if I had had Rich around, he would have saved me a lot of trouble in corporate environments. And if you're working a corporate job, um, and wondering why like you get fired a lot, because I did, why you get ejected from organizations, and it's not because you do bad work. You understand? I don't do bad work, but politically or emotionally, I'm not in line with the leadership of the organization, right? Which leads me to go create my own organization. I've been part of companies that were completely adrift. They were making millions of dollars, but they were adrift. They don't like that having that pointed out. And Rich would laugh at me at the examples that I would give and go, of course you got what was coming to you in those situations, right? So if you're a corporate executive and you want to learn how to fit in and go along with the flow and get promotions, if you want the mystery cleared up about why some people get promoted and you don't, right? Rich Gilbert is the guy to follow there. And it's just good stuff, I think, in general, because if you're a founder, your organization is actually going to be like that, right? We don't all want yes men and yes women working for us as founders, right? I'm a founder, but um, and I don't mind being challenged, but like if I'm challenged every day by somebody, that's going to wear on me, right? I'm going to get graded on by that. And eventually I'm going to go, I don't really want this person around because they're not fun to have in the organization. That's really the problem, right? The vibe is like, you don't fit in here. You need to go. And I'll help you and I'll support you and I'll be a good reference for you, but this isn't the place for you, right? So Rich has cleared up like all of that for me. And so while it's not directly relevant to my day-to-day stuff. It kind of is because it explains if you're doing client work, right? You got to fit in to the vision that that founder has who hired you, right? Who that person is who's hiring you, whatever role they're at. And hopefully you've talked that through, figured that out, sold them on that vision, or shown them this is where I fit into the vision they already have. Okay. So Rich Gilbert for that. A couple of honorable mentions. I used to watch Alex Becker. Becker created um, a uh, a tracking software that did attribution. And this is really important when you've got a number of online offers, landing pages, different offers, ways into the funnel from different places, and you want to know like who or where that came from. Say it's an affiliate offer, who do I pay out, right? And Hyros was that thing. And I mean, Alex started the same time I did, right? In around 2010, 2011, on the Warrior Forum and that. Um, just his smart thing was he made some money and then he just like hunkered down and focused on creating one thing. Whereas I went, I don't know, let me create a sales training business and try and make money in 15 different ways, and 14 of them fizzle, right? But he just created a product and he it kept creating and kept expanding on it and improving it, making it work better, and then eventually sold Hyros. What I liked about Alex is that he went through the whole journey of making money as an entrepreneur and having he had this huge house in Texas and he was walking around and he had like 11 or 12 air conditioning machines outside, right? And all these need maintenance. And all these rooms need maintenance and cleaning, and he doesn't really use all this space. And there was some neon sign that was given to him by a friend as a gift, and it was broken, and it just stayed like that for months, right? And he had the Lambo, and he was always worried about the Lambo, and people were going to scratch it or whatever. And like, you would look, and like he would have the setup. Maybe somebody's going to correct me on this, but I believe the Lambo was real. And he was in his garage shooting in front of it. And it wasn't just like a green screen backdrop or something like that, right? And eventually he sold the thing and he sold the house and he rented, an apartment 10 stories up in a high rise or something like that for like 2 grand a month. And basically what he said was, look, I realized I didn't need all this stuff. I could sell it all off. What do I really need? I need a bed, a fridge, a workstation, a chair. The view was nice. And he could stay there indefinitely. He could afford to do that forever, right? And the piece that comes from that of simplifying, right? That's something. I've put a lot of clutter into my life since coming back to my house after the flood. Bought a lot of things and put it in it. And that was kind of, art. Now I got to find all this space for all this art I bought on the walls and stuff like that. Um, House is constantly full of cardboard boxes that I need to tear down and take to the recycling. Like, it's having stuff is a pain in the ass, and so that's something that I learned from Alex Becker. Um, so stick with something, create a product, keep improving on it. It has to be something that solves a big problem, right? And it didn't work that great. Like I had clients who used it when I ran an $800,000 a year agency that did leads for commercial roofers. We used it. Did it work? Not all the time, but there was nothing else, right? It wasn't really like maybe one or two competitors that really did something like that. So, good for him. And I admire that. I admire sticking with something and improving it and selling it like that. And then learning the lifestyle. The last guy is a guy named Clark Kegley, Kegley. Clark, Clark, Kegley. This is a guy I wouldn't have known his name, honestly, the channel name, but I have watched a video of his a month at least for the past, 6, 8 months, right? And it's good for tools. He shares a lot of entrepreneurial tools, how to do things, how to break out of a funk, how to organize your day, mindset stuff. That's good. I like it. And clearly, despite me maybe not even making the connection that it's this guy or whatever, it's like that guy seems familiar. I'm going to watch that. Yeah, and it's half an hour, 40 minutes of good content. So I'll give him an honorable mention. So those are four because I don't really follow Becker. I'm still subscribed to his channel, but he talks about crypto, and I don't give a damn about crypto. Um, so it's not relevant to me, right? But the look at his older videos, maybe from a few years ago, and watch that journey of him going on this minimalist thing. Because he's like the pendulum that really swung right from one extreme to the other. And you don't see that example very often. You don't see somebody deliberately, thoughtfully doing it like he did. Right? He just got married too, so now his life's going to change again. But um, but the other guys, Rich and Dan, they're amazing to learn from and fall from, and see like what are they up to, what are they doing, and then it's Rich Gilbert is good for making sure you don't fall off the very narrow path you're on. And it is valuable when you're doing client work as well. It's not just corporate drone stuff, but. It's all stuff I wish I had known in my 20s. Boy, it would have saved me a lot of pain and a lot of trouble. Um, realizing that corporations really do, like I understood they wanted you to fit in a box, but I thought I could break out of the box, or that if I went outside of the box, that would be what got me promoted. And usually it got me ejected. So don't do that. Um, the promotions come from packs. You go in packs, right? And that's how you get farther. And they go, yeah, yeah, come along with us. And now you're the VP of whatever. Um, it's it's a different process than the one that I have in my head, but interesting. I've never run a company with hundreds of people. I've consulted and worked in them, but I've never run one with that many people, and I don't know what I would be like doing it, right? I feel like I would really lean on my senior managers, right? My senior executives, um, and hope that they were telling me the truth about their departments. The other option is to riddle their departments with spies, like that fellow in Game of Thrones, and just have there's a couple of them, right? Littlefinger and then the bald guy. Um, So, and I don't know if I would like to be like that. I don't want to be a police person, right? I don't want to be head of the secret police. That's a bad role for Jason. Um, because I would do it and I would do it and then I'd have to kill somebody and then the floodgates would be open, right? After that, after you've killed one person, what's the difference? So, let's stay away from the secret police, okay? So yeah, those are my recommendations for people I follow. If you follow me and think that I have discernment, then maybe you ought to check them out as well. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Ooh, I got a pop up. Malware bites and all this other stuff. Oh boy, thank you.